Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Peace Talks. This is a series where we catch up with the artists and bands that are coming to play for us at the Marr's Bar. And today we're joined by Jakub Klimiuk, who is a guitarist and composer. Moved to the UK from Poland. So thank you, Jakub, for joining us today. You'll be playing with your quintet on Thursday. That's Thursday next week, 31st of October. Hope you were at the end of Halloween. There we go. You don't have to come in costume.
Exactly. Great date. Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me, and yeah, really looking forward to the gig.
So, let's find out a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you grew up in Poland. Was it Gdańsk? You were.
So I studied in Gdańsk, but I'm originally from a small town in eastern Poland called Hajnówka. So yeah, I've lived there till I moved to Gdańsk to do my undergrad. I studied at the Academy of Music over there.
Right. Okay. And then so what brought you to the UK?
Yeah, so when I was studying Gdańsk in my third year, I actually participated in this international student exchange called Erasmus. It was like an EU thing, and I was offered a place at the Guildhall School of Music, and that's how it all started. So my first experience with London scene was actually between lockdowns in 2020. So
Right.
quite an unfortunate and a bizarre time to kind of move abroad as well. But yeah, so I went to Guildhall for the exchange, and just really liked it and decided to apply for my masters. So ended up also studying for another 2 years there.
Fantastic. Yeah, because I think you graduated just last year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, fresh out of college.
Fantastic. Great. So you got your so you graduated last year. I think you was it the EFG last year that you first
Uh,
first
the the first London Jazz Fest we did was 2022. It was right after our first EP Reluctance was
Yeah.
released. So it was exactly November 2022.
Cool. And you just had your first album Unbalanced released in May this year, wasn't it?
Exactly. Came out in May. I've been really enjoying the whole process. It was great to see how people reacted, and just really looking forward to spending a bit more time with that music on tour.
Mm.
Because especially these days, it's obviously not that easy to kind of organize longer strings of gigs, and we've got some things planned for now for October, and then next year. So it'll be a good opportunity to just experiment and kind of stretch that material a bit.
Yeah, cool. So where let's talk about your sort of musical sort of journey and influences and that. So you're playing guitar. Has it always been guitar? Was that where you started?
Yeah, guitar has always been there. I was actually quite lucky because in my small town in eastern
Mhm.
Poland, um, actually around when I was around 9, nine, 10, a first music school opened, and then I was actually kind of the first year who attended that school, and I had an opportunity to start learning classical guitar. And at the beginning, I would say that my journey was a quite typical route for a guitar player. So
Hmm.
it was classical guitar, then kind of gravitated towards electric and rock,
Right.
and definitely went through a huge rock and metal period. But then I got into blues, and I had
Okay.
a great teacher in my teens who kind of showed me Stevie Ray Vaughan, BB King, and all of that stuff. And I got really into that, and also improvising started to be something just really exciting to me. And from there, after like a couple of years of really diving into blues, that kind of led me into jazz players,
Okay.
Miles, and definitely Schofield. Schofield was one of
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
my really important influences. I remember like seeing him play when I was 13 or 14, and it was just absolutely mind blowing. I had no
Hmm.
idea what was going on, and there was this guy kind of combining uh, that blues language I knew with something completely unknown
Okay. Yeah.
and exciting. So yeah, blues was definitely really influential. And then when I kind of started exploring jazz more, I thought that maybe going to uni to study would be a good thing, and that's how it kind of started.
Excellent. And I think I saw you're also sort of doing some curation for the Vortex Jazz Club
Yeah,
in London.
that actually finished a couple of months ago. It was a really great project called Whirlpool,
Hmm.
and the idea was to kind of get a group of students or musicians who have recently graduated
Right. Yeah.
from Royal Academy of Music, Trinity, and Guildhall, to kind of take this group and let us organize monthly gigs in the Vortex and experiment with some new music we're working on, or kind of explore some free improv as well.
Hmm.
It was quite an open idea, kind of whatever we wanted to do, which was super great, and just gave us an opportunity to really bring fresh ideas and kind of workshop them together. And yeah, so Whirlpool is continuing with a new group of people. The idea is to kind of rotate
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
after a 10 months. Yeah, so really worth checking out as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, I do get down to London a few times a year. So and I've got my checklist. I've not been to the Vortex yet. I've got my checklist.
Oh, fantastic venue. One of my favorites in London. It's really a musician's venue. I would say
Right.
they really care about the music. It's like incredible to see what's happening there.
Yeah. I'll certainly get myself down there at some point. It's quite funny actually. I think I've since moving away from the London area, I've sort of visited more clubs in London. I sort of head down
Mm,
east because it's a 2 hour train ride from here to Paddington. So
yeah.
I've
Okay.
got time on my hands now to be able to go and check those places out.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, great. So yeah, I'd be interested to sort of talk a little bit about the the scene in Poland, the jazz scene in Poland, and kind of how that's going because I've no knowledge of that really or experience. Interested to know
Yeah.
and how it compares with the UK.
Mm. Yeah, so the scene in Poland is actually really strong and is definitely growing. And yeah, there are quite a few interesting festivals, and I think what's kind of unique to Polish scene is that there's like a growing interest in kind of free improv and free jazz and more
Hmm.
avant-garde stuff and kind of jazz meets contemporary classical things, which is yeah, just an interesting trend, I would
Mm.
say, because there's funding for this kind of stuff, and I mean definitely like influences from Scandinavian Germany are kind of can be felt, and people are really checking out ECM records, but like all
Yeah.
sorts of things that are happening in Berlin. But yeah, but Poland has a bit of tradition as well. I mean, I think that the first kind of proper festival was organized in the 50s.
Right.
Obviously, the political situation wasn't particularly great for kind of promoting this kind of art,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like particularly accepted, but even considering that kind of there was a quite large group of musicians who kind of started checking out bebop, and some of those older players also managed to like go to the States in like 60s and kind of learn and then come back. So
Mhm.
yeah, there's a lot of interesting things going on, and also audiences are quite young, and
That's good.
there
Yeah.
are quite a few young bands that are just going super super strong, and I would say that there's definitely a connection between mm, the scene in Denmark as well,
Okay.
and in Germany, as I mentioned, because quite a few people just went to those places to study and kind
Mm.
of brought new ideas. Uh, also would invite people from those places to collaborate.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going strong.
Cool. And what's it like in terms of engagement out there? And because it's quite interesting in
Mhm.
Worcester city, there's two venues that closed in the last month, two music venues.
Oh
And
wow.
obviously, we get a lot of perspective from the Music Venue Trust in the UK. The report last year that was two venues closing every week last year, and trying to get people out
Hmm.
to live music is especially new and original live music and sort of more niche genres is it's a lot more work I think than it used to be. Is it similar across in Poland? And
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's always a challenge with original stuff or Jenny music, which is not commercial in like a broader sense. Um, I mean, I would say first of all that the UK has definitely way more venues. There are many more places to play, and that's what I found really uh, interesting when I first came here, that like because in Poland, I mean there are jazz clubs in like major cities,
right, yeah.
but not of like even slightly smaller towns or
Mm,
cities have jazz venues, and in the UK it seems like they're just places that are kind of booking jazz artists kind of everywhere. But I guess is just obviously challenging, and with tickets not really selling that well in advance. That's what I found very just hard as a musician, as someone who's starting out in a sense. I mean,
mm,
my debut album came out this year. That there's maybe just so much information and like so many gigs around that it's difficult to kind of break through on social media, and kind of yeah, promote your stuff. But I guess the most important thing is to kind of just keep doing it and keep enjoying the music. That's the whole
Yeah,
point, isn't
yeah.
it?
It's interesting because I've had we did a well Jazz Midlands, which is an organisation I sort of a partner with. We did a mentoring scheme in the last 2 years. So we've taken it's been from people in the West Midlands, sort of, but mainly coming through Birmingham Conservatoire,
Yeah,
have graduated. So we teamed them up. There was 6 of them this year that we teamed up with other established artists in the UK scene.
yeah. Yeah, I saw
Um,
some great players being involved, like James Madron, I think was
Yeah, yeah, we had
one of
James Madden
the
was with
tutors,
Simon
or yeah,
Davies. Yeah, he actually played down at the Mars Bar on one of the
oh,
gigs.
incredible.
They also did a
Mm.
festival over in Birmingham, a Thousand Trades. So yeah, it was interesting talking to the younger artists that are coming through on kind of your experiences of sort of
Mhm.
emerging into the world as a professional musician in the 21st century. And what the challenges are maybe compared to someone 20 or 40 years ago.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I think there are just many different things to deal with in terms of, like, I mean, social media is a huge thing. So that's kind of a new area that we have to deal with as musicians, and obviously when like that main income we can actually kind of get from original music is gigging, not records at all.
yeah.
um I guess that's a challenge in the sense of uh just really trying to break through with your gigs, and yeah, I guess that I mean, what I found quite challenging is kind of combining the whole, artistic side of things with music business, and like one thing kind of take over the other.
Yeah.
And it's obviously, I mean, when you I mean, I've been kind of exploring the whole thing recently with my first like full records. I kind of experienced how what it feels like to kind of deal with uh, all the bookings and promo and everything related to the release, as well as trying to think ahead and trying to practice and like play music, and plan another record. So I guess it's all about finding some balance, and
Mhm.
it's kind of a huge part of what the record is about as well. It's kind of finding that balance in, like, also on a
Yeah.
career level, still stay inspired and fresh and open to new ideas, but also kind of be on top of the music business side of things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Because I think what's what's sort of become obviously sort of apparent in the last probably in the last decade more sort of accelerating is that it's become more and more easy for artists to become independent or to do things much more independently.
Yeah.
Producing, tools to produce music are so much more affordable and accessible. You can do so much on an iPhone
Of
these
course, and
days that
yeah.
and then the ability to get your music out there, so you can create and you can get it out there and get it distributed and such, quite independently. But then you've the old model of sort of getting a record deal and getting an agent and management be team behind you and all of that kind of stuff to take care of that. You've then got to you're becoming a much more of a sort of a business head and a creative head as well.
Yeah,
um
I mean, it can be a really freeing experience as well, because when you just do everything yourself, you can actually kind of shape.
Mm.
The whole thing, from the album cover to the way you kind of advertise your project. But yeah, it's just a lot of work, which is satisfying and can be rewarding. But like, I mean, I didn't even recently spoken to some of my friends, great young musicians in the scene, and yeah, everyone's kind of mentions that they are struggling a bit with combining like all that stuff, and like kind of admin overtaking other
Mm.
other things.
Yeah,
That's what kind of everyone seems to be dealing with.
yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I know there's companies and lots of online services and stuff to sort of help manage that. But it'll be I'm sort of starting to tune into other aspects of the music industry, and sort of I love pulling things apart and sort of seeing how they work. That's
Yeah,
I had a
yeah,
technical
yeah.
background for 30 years, and it's kind of this is I've sort of thrown myself
Mhm.
into this a couple of years ago, and it's really
Mm,
it's really interesting to understand how things work and uh,
yeah.
what is
I
there
mean,
anything that you could sort of see, or from your own experience, that would be a good positive, that would make a good positive change in the UK? I mean, whether that's things like funding, or changes to funding. I don't know if that's something you've had experience with, trying to get funding, and sort of the experiences with that, or um, is is ways to engage audiences to sort of step out and try something new, and any sort of thoughts that you've had around those kind of ideas?
yeah. I mean, founding is something I've been thinking about loads, and kind of working on quite a few applications recently. Um, yeah, I think it'd be nice to see some more kind of funding opportunities targeted towards improvised music
Hmm.
of any sort,
Yeah.
because I would say on one hand there are like quite a few organizations and charities offering support, but I've got a feeling that some of them are just targeted into
Mm.
more commercial projects, and they are kind of schemes, and the type of mentoring they're offering can sometimes be more applicable to to kind of other scenarios than kind of trying to
Mm.
than making your way up um as an independent jazz artist. So a bit more funding would be great. But also I would say, I mean, first and foremost, just more funding for venues.
Yeah.
That's kind of the crucial thing, because I mean, as you obviously know, there are so many great places just struggling, and or for example venues which suddenly lost funding after
Yeah.
after after a few years for no reason. So I guess, yeah, just in order to make the whole thing just continue and grow, the the funding is just completely crucial. So I would say that they would be even more important, that the venues would be well founded
Mm.
than kind of opportunities for individual projects.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I had a thought there, and I can't. It's
Hmm.
escaped me, but
Hmm.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think. Oh yeah, the thought I had was, I mean, I have a kind of a very aspirational vision that you'd actually end up with an audience that could fund a project. With music spoken here, I'd
Mm,
love to get to the point where actually, yeah, it's
of course.
fully
Hmm.
funded by the audience, and I think one of the things that you have to sort of instill, which does take time and a lot of work, is the value of good quality new and creative new music that people are reluctant to take a punt on, especially if you're asking them to part money, for it. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's kind of where I've kind of avoided looking at funding externally at the moment until sort of I understand
Hmm.
where everything sort of needs to sort of where the money needs to go really. But wouldn't it be great if audiences could actually
Yeah,
fund the
yeah, but I
and
guess
sort
a
of look at
combination. Mhm. Of course, I mean, the I can imagine that a combination of both the audience's engagement and some funding that would just allow venues to just go for projects that are maybe which would which are maybe hard to assess whether they be successful. Um, it would just give a bit more freedom, I guess, to some to
mm,
some places because I know I can definitely think of a few venues that are kind of uh, not booking original music, for example, or not booking
mm,
contemporary stuff just because they know that
it's going to
it's
cost.
hard to
Yeah.
sell tickets. I mean, I've had like many times in the past 2 or 3 years, I've definitely heard replies from promoters being, "Oh yeah, we really like your music, but sorry, we,
Mm,
we don't really have an audience for that." Obviously, if the venue does, that's
mm.
incredible. But I guess some of external funding would be just useful.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we've got a great audience that's building. It's not massive.
Yeah.
So we've been building it over a couple of years, and it's really yeah, it's I'm sort of targeting people. It's not sold as a jazz, I'm not sort of pushing it as a
Hmm.
jazz club. Although obviously what we do is very much jazz influenced. But it's yeah, it's getting people in that haven't necessarily given it much ear time and come and go, "Oh, actually this is pretty good." I think there's a lot of preconceptions about the music, and people are
Yeah.
um reluctant to sort of give it a go. But yeah, we're getting there slowly. So with that in mind, we've only got a few minutes left because I'm a cheapskate and only have the free Zoom. Keeping budget. But let's talk about your band and your music that you're going to be playing for us next week.
Yeah, so it will mostly be music from our recent album. Uh, yeah, I mean contemporary jazz is what people tend to call it, whatever that means. Yeah, I'm very much inspired by what's happening in New York at the moment. So
Mhm.
composers like Mark Turner, Aaron Parks, Jonathan Kreisberg, but but also the Scandinavian scene and the free-ish music has been very influential. So yeah, there'll be some experiments with structures and free improv, but definitely a lot of singable melodies. And I'd say that the core of this music is uh, quite straight ahead jazz in terms of the side of harmony, for
Mhm.
example, or
Right. Yep.
or, or, or improvising. Yeah, and we started playing together 3 years ago. Yeah, when I was at Guildhall during the student exchange, and I think the first person I met was Adam Merrill, our drummer, who
Mhm.
kind of introduced me to Harry Pierce, bass player, and then Simeon May, and those guys I've just played get loads and loads together in various set scenarios, various bands, and like from day one, they kind of introduced that free and um, element of kind of stretching while I write, which I really enjoyed. and yeah, our pianist is an incredible Cody Moss, who's a guy who studied everything from stride and bebop to pop and contemporary playing. So yeah, really a really great musician and person I've definitely learned loads from, and yeah, really looking forward to presenting this music to the music spoken here audience.
Brilliant. Yeah, well, we're also very much looking forward to it. So it's on the 31st, Thursday, 31st of October at the Mars Bar in Worcester. And yeah, safe trip over. Thank you very much, Dziękuję, for joining us today.
Dziękuję.
And
Great pronunciation. Thanks so
yeah,
much.
we'll the secret word for the night is vienchai. Yes, anyone coming along will use that towards the end of the evening. But yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Feel free to practice your Polish as well. Yeah, always happy to do that.
Grand. Well, thanks very much, and we'll see you on Thursday next week. Thanks very much.
Great. Thanks so much, Dave. See you next week.